Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Takunda, not his real name. The problem started when in our village, when they said that there was gold that was being found. Everyone was coming. There were white people that were coming from South Africa. There were Germans that were coming, as well as the Chinese. Now in our village, everywhere there are just sinkholes because of these mines that are just everywhere. Especially the Chinese, they are just digging up anywhere they want to and taking advantage of most of the people from our village because of the poverty that is there. So I grew up in that kind of an environment, and once there is a lot of illegal gold mining that will be taking place, it will be very difficult to control the situation because people will start to come from different parts of the country coming to mine for the gold. So I was always in that environment, and for you to be able to dig up for gold, you had to fight with other syndicates. So I was part of this other syndicate, in which it was me and some of my schoolmates, and we were together. We would go to the mines, we'll dig up for gold, and after getting the gold, then we will just return back to the mines and dig up. It's like a vicious cycle. There is nothing basically that you can do with the money. All that you do with that money is that you just use the money to drink alcohol, to sleep with the prostitutes that will be following you around, and at the end of the day you won't have anything, because basically what happens is that the people that are making all of this money, it is the people who are at the top. You miners, the ones that go illegally underneath the ground, you do not make anything at all. So I would dig up for the gold, then I would return back home, drink alcohol like no man's business. Then I would return back to the mine. It then happened that there was this very beautiful girl. She was really beautiful. She came to our village. She had came from the nearby city, and then I told her that I was in love with her, and she told me that she was also in love with me. We started dating, but little did I know that this girl, she was dating another boy as well, who was an illegal gold miner. He got to find out that I was dating the same girl that he was dating. One day when we were at this other local beer hall, that was when he confronted me. In that moment, I then found out that I was all alone because my syndicate members, they were not there. And this man, I'll call him Joram, a man that I had never liked, a man who was always arrogant, a man who hated me. And now it was even worse because we were dating the same girl. He came to me, and once you are drunk, you can't control yourself. And all that I know is that our voices grew louder and louder. We insulted each other. Before we knew it, we were fighting. The other men, they tried to calm us down, but I was too far gone. There was rage that was inside of me, and in that moment, he became the target of everything. I was angry, and then I said, let me walk away. I even told him that me walking away was not that I was scared of him, but it was just that because I did not want anyone between me and him to die on that night. We still had to live for another day. If he wanted the girl, I said, you can have her, because to me she is now like a prostitute. If she has been sleeping with you as well as sleeping with me, she is not someone whom I would want to be with for the rest of my life. He then went and he sat down as he was celebrating with some of his syndicate members, and one of the syndicate member had a gun, in which this gun, it was said that it had been stolen from South Africa. Somehow it had found its way in our country. That was the gun that he threatened me with. So he pulled out the gun. Everyone saw the gun. The owner of the beer hall told me to go, otherwise this man, with the way that he was pointing the gun at everyone, he could kill me. In the meantime, they were trying to inform the police. So I walked and I walked and I walked. whilst I was walking, I was in this other bushy area. That was when he caught up with me. The moment that I left that tavern, he had been following me behind with the intentions of wanting to shoot me. And I want to thank God that the moment that I saw that there was a man, Joram, was following me, he was pointing the gun at me, he made me to kneel down, and when he pulled the trigger jammed because it was raining a lot, so maybe there was something that had gone wrong with the gun. He tried to shoot again, and then he pulled the knife. The moment that he pulled the knife, we started fighting, and we fought and we fought. As we were fighting, rolling in the mud, that was when I realized the fatal mistake that I had made. And when I say that he pulled out a knife, it was not just your normal knife. It was a very big knife, such that when he fell on top of that knife, even his own intestines started to fall out of his own stomach. I watched him and I started crying, for I had realized that this is what had happened. When I tried to defend myself, I had killed this man by mistake. He had killed himself and there was no witness at all. The only luck that happened to me was that the police as well had been informed that Joram, he had an illegal firearm, so they were hot on his heels looking for him. When they heard me crying, that was when I saw the flashlights. I cried even more and I said, I am going to get arrested. I looked at Joram's lifeless body with the intestines that were all over, and I said, I once had a story that the moment that you kill someone, if you drink his blood or if you eat any part of his flesh, his vengeful spirit will never be able to fight against you, because when he comes to you, he will see himself in which he will never be able to attack himself. I had heard this story whilst we were underground, that there was this other man. During those days when diamonds and emeralds were being found in Mutare, he had murdered a man and eaten him so as to avoid the vengeful spirit from ever following him. I trembled knowing that the police were fast approaching. Then I tore into his intestines with my hands and I started eating them. I felt his warm blood and I felt this metallic taste that made me want to vomit, but I could not stop myself. I was telling myself that this I had to do so that his vengeful spirit will never follow me again. This is what I did. By the time that the police arrived at the place where I was kneeling down crying, I had wiped myself, and lucky enough it was raining. They knew the whole story, that he had been threatening me with a gun. That is how I was able to be released from prison, because this was self-defense, and in honest, it was self-defense. This man, he wanted to shoot me, but it is just that the trigger jammed and he could not kill me. And when he pulled out that knife, he fell on top of his own knife. It was as if on that day God said, no, you are not going to die, my son. But the honest truth is that I had to eat, even though I am a free man, but it truly disturbs me. This is a secret that no one even knows. My advice to other people out there is that now that we are approaching this festive season, never make that mistake of fighting with another man over a woman that both of you will be dating. Because look, when I was arrested, it's not like they just arrested me and released me. They had to do some investigations. That girl that we were fighting over, she never even visited me. She was not even at his funeral. And by the time that I got out of prison, I then found out that she was already married to another man. It is not worth it to fight over a woman. It is not worth it to be violent when you are drunk. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.